Record. Okay. Happy Wednesday, you guys. Can you guys believe that Christmas is like coming really soon? I can't believe it. I feel like I'm so far behind. But I wanted to talk to you guys today, even though some of you I talked about this yesterday on our diamond call. Was that yesterday? Yeah. Some things I want to talk about there, and then some things I just want to talk about with like ending the year with a bang. And a lot of you are probably already doing this stuff, but I think it was like a good reminder for me too when I was like sitting and thinking about like what I wanted to go over to talk about like how to end the year with a bang. And I know I've been guilty in the past of like, oh, it's the holidays, like I'm just gonna do a little stuff here and there throughout Christmas and like take days off because Nick's off and it's the holidays and blah, 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 blah. But I just wanted to go over things that I'm going to be doing, making sure I'm doing through the holidays. So when January comes, I'm not like trying to play catch up and so in January, I have like the full benefit of working all of December. Because that when you don't, well, you guys know this business is like 2 months out, you see like what you've been putting in. So like in January, if you've been consistent in November or even October and November and December, January hopefully for you will be huge because all these people who have been watching you and you've been talking to and you've been like even reconnecting with, they'll be seeing you're still consistent with doing these things, and hopefully January will be huge. For people who it's not huge for, like I've had coaches say, well, January wasn't as like, I don't know, not big, but it wasn't as like awesome as I've heard it's been. It could be, and it's probably because you weren't consistent or you were consistent like the week after Christmas right before January, and it's almost too late to start being consistent after Christmas. So we want to just make sure like this last couple of weeks, and hopefully you guys have been, people who are watching have been consistent like through November and October. So things I'm going to be doing, I'm looking at notes too. Let me get out of Facebook first because that's annoying. Things I'm going to be doing to make sure that I'm staying consistent, and even days where like we're busy or Nick's home and we're going to go Christmas shopping or we're going to hang out with family, like I'm going to make sure I get at least my 5-3-2 done every single day, even if it's like the bare minimum. Other days where I'm home, like a normal business day, I'll probably be doing more. So I'll probably be doing like my 5-3-2 twice, just so I'm covering a lot more people. So when January does come, all those people, I'm like in their news feed and I'm posting. And hopefully that will help, because I mean, if you're reconnecting with 5 people and you do it twice, that's 10 people a day. So hopefully you'll be able to hit a lot of people throughout the next couple weeks. Your personal development and sharing your personal development, you guys know about that. Workouts, I know that this is a time too where people slack with workouts because it is the holiday, but if you're doing your workouts and sharing them consistently, that you're like still working out through the holidays, when the holidays are over, people are going to come to you because they're like, oh, that girl was the one who like, she was still working out through the holidays, and she was the one who was like, she must know what she's doing, and they'll come to you because they remember seeing you every single day doing your workouts. Lots of reconnects, and then just believing that you're going to end the year strong. I think that's something that like we kind of forget to do, and I forget to do this. Like I catch myself all the time being like, well, I hope, or if it works out, and we just have to kind of just believe it's going to happen and like put it out there like it's already happened, like thanking the universe or God that it's already like happening, and the end of the year is going to be huge for us. And then making sure you're hitting Success Club this month, because that's just, it's going to help bring you into the new year with Success Club, and there's still like seriously plenty of time to do that. I know a lot of people have been, and this is something that if any of you guys have like things that have been working for you for this, but I know a lot of coaches have been saying it's been hard because people they've been inviting are saying like it's too expensive, or they just don't have time or the money, or with Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And I don't remember if I was talking about this with some of you yesterday. I don't remember. But the people who want it are going to be the people who join you no matter what. Like, they're not going to you're always going to have people who use money as an excuse, whether it's the holidays or not. So those people who give you that excuse, like, oh, I have no money because it's the holidays, they probably would give you an excuse even if it wasn't the holidays, if that makes sense. So the people who really want to do this and want to get healthy through the holidays are going to be the ones who don't give you an excuse and just are like, yeah, let's do this. And just, if you're just consistent with inviting people and sharing what you're doing, it takes 7 to 8 times before people are finally like, okay, like, what are you doing? So, and switching things up, like, I know, so like the last 2 days Nick and I have been doing, we started hammer and chisel, and I can't believe, like, the 2 pictures we've taken aren't anything like crazy. Like, it's just literally us smiling in front of the camera. But I can't believe how many more people like and are engaging in pictures when it's me and Nick versus just me taking like a selfie. So if you feel like your workout pictures are kind of like dying down and they're not, they're just not getting a lot of traction, switch it up. Like, if you do work out with your spouse, like, try and take a picture with him, even if he's in the background. Like, there's times I'll just have him in the background, like, doing whatever, and people still like it more because we're doing it together. So that could be something too, to like spice up your workout selfies or pictures. Cause I know sometimes it gets redundant sharing the same one, or like coming up with new ones sometimes. So that could be something. Or like your kids. I know Victoria has done a lot with having your kids just in the background or like climbing all over you. Like, that's different than just us like posing, I guess.
And have Nick crawl all over you and
right.
Like,
yeah. And
husbands, what can you do?
Yeah. Like, and that's real life, so people, I don't know, switching up so it's not just always like you doing the same pose. And I know I get really like, I'm guilty of doing like the same pose all the time, and that's probably why people just get bored of seeing me. They'd rather see Nick, I guess. So and some other things that I wanted to talk about, because I know I've had people tell me they feel like they're in a funk right now, and this can kind of go with like, well, no one wants to join me, or it's like the holidays, or it's Christmas and no one has money and blah, blah, blah. When I was on a Zoom with Joelle the other night, and I talked about this yesterday on the Diamond Call, this is what she goes through with her coaches who tell her that they're in a funk or it's not working or whatever. And she'll ask them if they're doing their personal development. And I know all of you guys are probably doing your personal development, but the ones who aren't on here, that aren't doing their personal development, I know if they aren't doing it, more than likely people tell me it's because they don't have time. I was thinking about that today when I was walking Jax, and I was listening to personal development while I was walking Jax, and you can find time. Even if you're in the car for 5 minutes, you can listen to 5 minutes of something and then pick it up the next 5 minutes you're in the car. Like, that's
or
better.
the shower.
Like, literally anything, like working out. Like, I've gotten into, well, not now that I'm working out with Nick, but when it was just me working out, I'd listen to personal development while I was working out, or like walking Jax. I always listen to it while I'm walking Jax. People do it while they're folding clothes, while they're doing the dishes, while they're showering. There's just, you can find time to do it, and that's going to be honestly your biggest thing to get you out of that funk. And sometimes I even think with personal development too, you can feel like you're in a funk if you're not reading or listening to the right thing. Because I know there's been times where like I get halfway through a book and I'm like, like, this is not what I need right now. And I can go read a different book and it's like it completely changes everything. Or I come back to that book that just wasn't doing it for me like a year later, and I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I need right now. So sometimes switching up your personal development, if you feel like it's just not what you need right now, that's okay, because everybody's not going to be like on the same path with personal development. The second question she asked is, are you doing your 5-3-2 every single day? That will help get you out of a funk, because if you're messaging and talking to people, that just, hopefully it makes your day. And then the third one, which I thought was interesting, because I've never like looked at it. Well, I probably like thought of it, but I've never really like whatever. I've never asked coaches, like, are you doing this? It's, are you focusing on helping people and adding value without anything in return? Like, without expecting anything in return. And I think sometimes we get into like this expectancy, like, oh, I'm adding all this value, or I'm doing this, or I'm helping these people and I should get something in return. And that kind of defeats the helping, even if, like, if you were to do this, would you still do this if you didn't get paid to do it, kind of thing, you know? And if you were to say, yes, I would still do this if I didn't get paid to do it, then we shouldn't be expecting to get paid to do it, and the money part will just come, if that makes sense. I feel like that was kind of a ramble, but I hope that made sense there. But that's all I really wanted to talk about with, like, ending the year with a bang. I don't know if anybody else has, like, anything they're doing that's different than this stuff that they feel like is helping them end with a, like, build momentum through the new year. Oh, something else I was thinking about doing. I've seen a lot of coaches do sponsored posts for like the 3-day refresh. I know a lot of people are doing this for, like, the 3 days after Thanksgiving. And that's something I'm going to try. I've never done a 3-day refresh group at all, because it's literally almost killed me when I did it, the 3-day refresh myself. But I was thinking it'd be something good to do right after Thanksgiving or after Christmas, before, like, the new year. So that's something to do, like, try that's completely different than advertising for, like, a fitness group. It'd just be like a 3-day, I think people were saying, like, a 3-day plant-based cleanse or something like that. Like, you could come up with, like, a cool way of putting it. But that's something I'm going to try, like, promote for this month, because it's something different. And I figure it'd be a good time slot like that, those 3 days. I think I was going to do, like, the 28th through the 30th. So that way they'd be done right before the new year. So kind of just trying new things. I don't know how it's going to work, because I've never done one before, but that's something that I'm going to try to do to, like, boost into the new year. That's all I had. Anyone have anything that they're doing, or any questions or anything like that? I talked really fast today. Sorry.
I have a GSR call tomorrow, and I'm nervous.
Good.
Yeah. I just don't feel like I ever get used to that. I've only had 2 or 3.
Has she done, like, any of the trainings yet? So she'll hopefully have questions and stuff for you.
She said she was going to get started. Okay. I don't know exactly how far she's gotten, but she seems like somebody that's actually going to work.
Okay, good. So I would just make sure you don't, like, word vomit stuff all over her, and just ask questions and let her talk. I know I haven't done GSRs in a long time. I know we talked about this yesterday on our Diamond call, because Victoria had questions about it. But when I was on the Diamond Zoom with Joelle, she was talking about, like, how she gets her new coaches started off right. And in her welcome email, she has, like, a video, and I don't know, I almost should get her video and just see what she says. But she actually doesn't get on the phone with her new coaches until they kind of, like, show her that they're, like, putting in the effort, if that makes sense. So, like, she doesn't get on the phone with and I've kind of been doing the same thing. Like, I wait for them to come to me before I'm like, okay, we need to get on the phone. 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 Like, that's redundant and just annoying. So I wait for them to come to me. So, like, if she's doing your training, like, doing some type of training, hopefully she'll have questions for you too. But that's something that she's started to do, is not always get on the phone with people.
So you don't do the GSR anymore? Do you just send that 45-minute video?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then in my welcome email, I give them the option to get on the phone with me when they go through it. So, like, if they want to, they can. Like, my one coach, Brianna, she joined last month, and we still haven't got onto the call, like, on a GSR call, and she hit Success Club last month. So, like, a GSR call isn't going to, like, make or break your coaches. Like, if they're going to be go-getters and they're going to go whether you do a GSR call or not, I feel like. I I'm not saying they're bad, because it's good to get on the phone and like just talk with your new coaches, just to like talk with them and see like where they're at and who they are.
Yeah, I want to get to know her, because I didn't know her before I added her on Facebook. Like, we're from the same town, but she grew up and graduated like 5 years before me, so I don't really know her at all.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that you could just take time to like get to know her, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Any other questions, concerns, comments, struggles, thoughts? Nothing? You guys are way too quiet. Oh my gosh. I should almost have like assignments. Everybody bring one question when Lauren is doing the team call, because I talk really fast.
Well, I just I just opened up an event page for my next challenge group, and had said that she was doing that. And my thing is like, I see these ideas. I'm like, oh, how do you do that? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, I start like freaking out in my head, and then I was like, I know how to create an event page. That was just the stupidest thing. Like, I just created the event page, and now I'm adding people to it, and I kind of like it. At first, I wasn't sure how to do it. But now I realize I can just go back, and I have tons of transformation pictures of my own, and then I have them of different people, and I have different like sample videos of workouts that I've done. Like, I can just like start grabbing my old stuff and throwing it in there every day to highlight different workouts and stuff. I was like, that's a genius idea.
Right. I think along that lines, like, I know we can kind of get in the habit of like waiting for somebody else to tell us like what to do, instead of just like doing something, like trying something out. And I know we kind of talked about this yesterday, Victoria, of like just trying it out and seeing if it works. And if it works for you, amazing, keep doing it. If it doesn't, that's okay. You don't need to keep doing it. But we don't know until we like try it, you know. And there's really like, with this business, there's really no right or wrong way of doing anything except not being like salesy and spammy. That's basically the only like no. So like trying things out and figuring out like what works for you. If you love doing GSR calls, do them. If you don't, you know, it's your business. So I'm never going to tell you guys like that's totally wrong. Like, don't do that unless it's you guys like totally spam your page with salesy stuff. Then I probably will tell you that. But besides that, like, create.
I'm a visual learner. Like, I'm such a visual person that when I get an idea, like sometimes it takes a while for it to register, because it's like, I like the idea. I was like, I don't get it. It's not comprehending. And so if I see somebody else do it, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, or even like, you know, I think I got on the phone with Anne one time, and she kind of walked me through what she was doing. I was like, oh, okay. So I repeated it back to her. She's like, yeah. I was like, okay. It's like, I get it now. So I'm such a visual person. I have to see what somebody else is doing in order to like get it.
Right.
So.
Right. But you don't always have to. Well, you don't always have to like do what others do.
Well, no, but I mean, like, just taking ideas and, you know, kind of running with it. Yeah.
Go, Michelle, go.
I just want to say 3 words: learn, apply, fail. And the best way to do it, because I'm a visual person too, is try and do your best to the vision that you're seeing, that you're seeing in your mind, put it to the paper, put it out and do it. And if you apply it, then you can, if you're going to fail anyways in a certain format of it. So as long as you're failing forward, throughout those times, you keep repeating that cycle: learn, apply, fail, learn, apply, fail, then eventually you're going to come up on the succeed. And and I think it's just also too with confidence of trusting the fact that when you do fail, that it's not determined. It doesn't determine your worth as a person or as a leader, but it's going to help you get even more creative, because you'll fail and you'll realize that I'm okay, I'm still here, I'm not a horrible person, so let's try this again and apply something different. And then you'll start to be more and more creative with your ideas and how you want to do it. So
I don't know if any of you guys listened to that podcast I posted yesterday with Seth Godin, and he talked on there about how like when I I didn't know he has like a blog, but anyways, he writes like blog posts, and he said like out of one good post, he'll write 5 ones that are failed, like posts. Oh, that was weird, echoey. So like, and he said the most successful people fail way more times than they succeed. Like, we just have to fail. If you want to succeed, you have to fail, probably more than you're going to succeed. It's just part of being an entrepreneur. It's part of owning your own business. And I think sometimes we can get scared of failing because society makes it sound like if you're a failure, you're like a failure. It's really in like our terms, like failing is a good thing. I don't even like calling it failing. We need to find a new word for that. But like, the only way to know is to kind of fail and figure it out and keep going.
When I read the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut somebody off. I always think back in my mind, one of the quotes he said is, work is going to suck 95% of the time, but that other 5% is freaking awesome. And that's what I, kind of mentally go back to a lot of times, because these mundane tasks, doing them over and over again, sometimes it just sucks. Mm-hmm. But then that one time that out of the 20 messages or something, you have one person that says thank you. That's what you're working for.
Right. I think like it's all the unsexy things we have to do every single day. Our 5-3-2. That's not an attractive thing to do every single day. Like reading personal development isn't always attractive. It's all these things that are growing our business that are not always attractive, but they're the things that will get us to where we want to go. And like you said, it's the 5%. Those, like when you get a message out of the 20 messages that says, somebody says thank you, or I've lost 5 pounds, or I couldn't have done this without you. Like those messages are so much more than the non-answered ones, I guess. Prisha had asked, she has so many people interested, and I don't know if anyone wants to answer this too, I can always answer it too, but she has so many people interested in different programs, but once you mention the price, they disappear and fall off the face of the earth. I hate when that happens. Yes, she gets to know them first, but the price scares them away. How can she tell them a price without scaring them away?
You can't help their reaction. They're going to react whether you say a price or not. And they have to be ready to make a commitment to themselves. The more that you show confidence in the value of the products that they're getting. Look, I get co-signing from Anne. I'm excited. She never co-signs me. I'm always co-signing her. But once you believe in the value of the program and the product that you're talking to them about, then that confidence and that, look, this is the way it is. I mean, you can put it in and compare it with other things too. Like if they're going out, and buying something else that they want to buy, they're going to put more money onto something that has more value to them. So you've got to help create the value of this. And the value that is of this program is their health and, their life. So it's just a matter of working on how to create that vision for them on how the value of this program and product is valuable to them.
Right. I think mentioning somewhere that it's going to be an investment. Like they have to be ready to invest in themselves. It's not like I have people ask me too, like I'll invite them to the Hammer and Chisel. Like this just happened recently. Like someone had liked my post about Hammer and Chisel, and then I messaged her about it, and she's like, oh, is it going to cost me money? And I'm like, you think this new program is just like free? Like, so like sometimes people just don't understand that it's going to be an investment. So that could be something like if you do post about like a challenge group post, like putting in there that they're going to have to invest in themselves to be in the group. I know that what has been working for me too is following that, like where you kind of break it down, like it's this much a day for all of this stuff, like always making sure when you're giving them the price, you're breaking down every single thing they get. So they get 30 meals of Shakeology, they get the full program, they get a meal plan, they get your coaching, they get your VIP support, they get like breaking down everything they get. So it looks like they're getting a ton more stuff for that $160 or the $4 a day or whatever. I know that helps a lot because I used to be one to just be like, oh, it's $160, and then I would never hear from them again. So like giving them all the value, the cost, and then asking with the question so they forces them to come back to you, not just like giving them a price and then being like, hey.
I also remind them that when they're getting Shakeology, if you break it down by day, I also remind them that it's not in addition to their grocery bill, it's factored into their grocery bill. And I explain, like, obviously I've gone from 2 incomes to 1, and that's how I budget it. I have adjusted my grocery budget to include the daily cost of Shakeology. And if they do that, then they can already afford it, period.
Right. Well, yeah, because
I like to let them know that they're getting my coaching for a lifetime too. Like, some people have it in their head that it's just this 21 or 30-day group and then we're done with them, and that's not how it is.
Yeah, I always use the word they're grandfathered into like all my challenge groups from here on out, or until they're like ready to be done with me or annoyed with me. So yeah, that's a good idea too. I hope that answered your question, Prisha.
I listened to a coaching call about, I don't know which coach it was, but they said if they come back with, oh, that's too much, you say, how much are you comfortable spending? That gets them in a price point. And then if it's in a lower price point, get them still into a base kit instead of Shakeology. Put them in the group, see that everybody else is drinking Shakeology. Eventually they'll come back around. That's what I heard another top coach say, that they just break it down like, okay, maybe the challenge pack is too much, then we get you down to a base kit, and if that's too much, then put them in the free group.
Right, that's a good way to do it too. Because I feel like if they even get any type of program, Shakeology is said so, like literally before and after every workout, that if they finish the 21 days, hopefully by that point it's been ingrained in their head that they need Shakeology, and they'll get on it next time around. That's a good way of putting it too. Like that. Any other questions or concerns or thoughts? No? Oh, made you yawn, Sam. No one has any other questions? How's Success Club going? We could talk about that. Two? That's good. You still got like over half the month left. I was going to say over half the year.
I've been consistent, so it'll happen.
Mm-hmm. And how, okay, I almost should check. Well, we can talk just later about that maybe, since this is the team call. Anyone else struggling with like Success Club or anything like that? Closing? No? Oh, there goes Prisha. No? Okay. I'm going to stop recording because then we can kind of talk about whatever. Oh, and we have 10 minutes left.